All right, for real. This is the real, review. Spoilers ahead. If you don't want to know anything about Endgame, do not continue this video. Back out.
In fact, if you haven't even seen Endgame, go watch something else right now, because it is that powerful. It is just that moving, and why would you want to ruin it for yourself? So just, if you haven't seen it, period, whether you plan on watching it or not, go watch something else.
I'm terribly sorry, but you should see this movie already. You should be out at the theater right now seeing the movie. It's so freaking good.
Anyways, what do you want to hit on first?
So much.
I mean, it was 3 hours worth of stuff, so that's fair. Sorry, 181 minutes worth of stuff. Specifics, right. There was only one part that I was actually kind of disappointed in.
What was that? The time travel aspect?
Well, okay, honestly, yeah, I went into this movie thinking, man, if they use time travel to rewrite all this stuff, what a way to cheapen the experience of Infinity War. If all the previous movies they've done, that they just go, nope, redo button, everything didn't happen, haha, wasn't that funny that this... They did a great job, I felt. Because it wasn't that they rewrote everything, they actually specified, don't change anything that happened in the past 5 years, just bring back everybody back now.
Right.
So they didn't really cheapen anything. They did a really good job. And they did a great job explaining, too, between the Sorcerer Supreme and Professor Hulk.
Yep.
And then, that visual they had about how diverging timelines are and that kind of stuff. And then how they had a solution to bring it all back together so it didn't affect anybody's reality.
Right.
They did a great job writing that. And I hate that so many movies out there about time travel
don't go into the detail. Don't work it that way.
Right. They gloss over what's going on just so that it helps with the final end of the film. Whereas the time travel itself was a part of the ending of the film.
I think we can
forward. Okay. So yeah, I mean, going into it, I didn't want to see time travel to fix everything. They did it, and they did a fantastic job. I'm so glad they did it that way. I can't imagine that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, the thing I was disappointed in was, after all these movies and not knowing anything about the characters, because
right.
I'm not a comic book reader, having watched the movies, I always thought that there was a little bit of interaction between Black Widow and Hawkeye. I always kind of saw it behind their eyes, just the little movements. And then finding out that Black Widow had that hysterectomy when she was real young and she physically cannot have children.
Right.
And then the way Clint is with 3 kids himself, I could see it being that they worked on the field, they had some chemistry, they had some romance going on, and then he finds out, oh, she can't have kids, but I want to be a dad, so I need to find an actual mother. And so their relationship kind of goes kaput, but they still stay close together because they're really good friends.
Right.
So the scene when Black Widow dies for the Soul Stone, I was really expecting Clint to finally say, I love you.
When he was letting her go.
When he was letting her go after she, I was really expecting, as she's dropping it, I love you. And then that just cements the fact that he is giving up something that he loves besides his kids and his wife and that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I mean, so I am disappointed, but it doesn't break the film.
Right.
So.
It's not detrimental to the quality of the film in the first place.
Right.
It's just a little bit of annoyance.
Yeah. I think it was just a bump in the road that could have been smoothed over and made this scene... Because, when Thanos throws Gamora over in Infinity War, that was heart-wrenching. I didn't know anything about Thanos, but you can see on his face, he is crying, okay? Mm-hmm. He's crying manly purple man tears, okay? And I understand this is heart-wrenching. He loves Gamora, but in order to fulfill his destiny, as he puts it, to do this to put this plan in motion that he's had forever... He has to give up something he loves. And so I just didn't get that exact level of feeling between Hawkeye and Black Widow.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to call her Scarlet Widow.
Well, one of my favorite things about this movie is the fact that they did not mess with... they didn't do the whole introduction of how Bruce Banner and Hulk merged and became Professor Hulk. It was just immediately, we figured it out, we worked on it, we did some things, and over the last 5 years, and that's it. It's just like with Spider-Man in the MCU, how we didn't have to lose Uncle Ben again. Mm-hmm. It's just I understand that hasn't been explained ever in the MCU, but it's they did such a well job of just explaining it quickly and then getting that over with and moving on with the rest of the movie.
And so you think that Endgame benefited by not having the origin story of Professor Hulk?
Yes.
Okay. Is it really a complex thing?
I mean, it's just as simple as like he explained in the movie. It's just he had to consult with Hulk, you know, and they need to work together, and that's exactly what happened.
And I do admit, again, knowing nothing about these characters, well, little about these characters,
right.
The introduction of Professor Hulk himself, of him being
At the cafe,
acting like a regular person who's just, you know, bigger. You know, he's like freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger,
right?
You know,
with
or
like
Andre
gigantic plates of food.
Oh my God, yeah, that plate of eggs, and then like it was
a bowl. It was a bowl. Of eggs.
Okay,
it was a huge bowl of eggs,
like this huge platter bowl, like fit for an army thing of scrambled eggs.
Oh, it was great.
And then another one of sausage links.
Yep.
And then a third one of what, like waffles and
tortillas.
It was tortillas.
They had tortillas and they had waffles.
Okay. Man, I wish I could eat like that.
Right?
Oh, it looks so good. Anyways, but yeah, so to bring them in, bam, this is the whole character of this movie.
Yep.
Not wasting any time, like you said, which was nice.
Right.
And then just like, oh yeah, we figured it out. I thought he was a disease, but he's not. We're two halves of the same whole, so we became the same whole.
Because at the very beginning of Infinity War, you see Thanos put the beat down on Hulk, and he instantly won't come out. Like, he just won't have it. No! Right? So it's nice that they just did that. Like, it was just over with. That was nice.
And like I said too, the way they introduced him, I really liked how well that meshed in with. And then the fact that like Ant-Man is finally seeing these people not on the battlefront, he's meeting them as people, not as adversaries, not as like brothers in arms. So he's just kind of like geeking out, like, you're the Hulk, cool. Oh, you're fans of the Hulk? Yeah, you want pictures of me? I'm Ant-Man.
You know? No, not really.
But
So when they went back in time, and Thor summons Mjolnir for the first time since it was destroyed in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And the mom was just like, "Oh, it takes a couple seconds." And then Mjolnir actually comes. We're blown away in the theater. We're just like, what?
Yes.
So then he carries Mjolnir and Stormbreaker all at the same time. That was like you're a little kid and you get these toys, right?
Right.
And you take pieces of a toy that doesn't belong to another toy and you combine them on one toy. That's exactly what I was thinking when he did that.
I'm trying to remember. I thought I saw in the fight at the end between Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Thanos, between those four characters.
Right.
At one point, I thought for sure I saw Thor with Stormbreaker in one hand, and he's using Mjolnir
Yes,
to like hammer
he did.
I did see that. Okay.
Yes.
I thought I imagined this feverish dream that fight was, because Captain America.
We can't alleviate enough. Captain America is worthy. He's worthy.
I mean, who didn't see it coming? But for the fact that they
actually played on it,
yes,
they actually worked with it. It was full blown the entire time. After he gets Mjolnir, he's worthy. It's just like, because in Age of Ultron, you see him nudge.
Yes.
You see him nudge.
No, and Thor's like,
oh man, I'm not the only worthy one. Obviously, Vision was worthy because that was the whole fun point of that. But
I forgot about that scene, right? That was dope when Vision just picks it up like
nothing.
Just
hands it to him. All right, this is nice. It's nice weighted, you know.
Oh man. And then I like to the little things throughout the movie that didn't just tie in Infinity War to make them like two movies continuing. Right. The fact that it was every single movie seemed to have a place in Endgame. Like they brought in all these little details from the past 20-some movies, and to make it seem like all of these movies had a purpose. They were every single movie was being built up for Endgame.
So there's a scene in the movie where they're trying to get the Tesseract, and they're in this like elevator with all of the SHIELD/Hydra agents. Yes.
Again, not knowing comic books, I know the famous scene with Captain America that came out a couple years ago, where he says two important words that both start with H.
Yep.
Even I knew this was an important scene.
Right.
So go ahead.
He's literally like entering the elevator. You're thinking, oh man, he's about to have to scrape and beat down every single one of these agents.
I was waiting for him to say. I was waiting for him to say that.
Anybody want to get off?
Anybody want to get off before we start fighting? I was expecting that line.
Anybody want to get off? That's what I was expecting too. But then as it got quieter, and then Cap like sneaks into the dude's ear, I knew exactly what was going on when he did that.
Right.
Hell Hydra.
Because he's trying to convince the guy to let it go of the thing. So
let go of the Tesseract.
Yeah, no, it was the mind control stick that Loki had.
Oh, the scepter.
Yeah,
the scepter.
Tony was going after the Tesseract.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, sorry, my bad. Either way. Cap on the screen says Hell Hydra to a bunch of Hydra agents to get something from them. To get the staff from them.
Brilliant. I mean, fucking brilliant. How do you... Oh, I can't get over that. But yeah, But I mean, so that was a nice reference from the comics, especially more recent editions of the comics. But then what was the one we were geeking about over that was like such a tiny detail in another one of the movies?
I don't know.
Oh man, I don't remember either. I'm sorry.
It's fine. So I'm going to segue. Go to something else for a second. Spider-Man's first scene. Freaking out, man! When they called all of the reinforcements. Okay, so a little context. Obviously, they snap. Everybody comes back. Clint gets a phone call from his wife. Hawkeye gets a call from his wife stating, obviously that they're back. I'm wondering in the theater, when are all the heroes going to come in and fight with everybody? Like, when is that going to happen? It just seems like it takes forever. And then just all of a sudden you hear Falcon in Cap's ear on your left, referencing obviously the Winter Soldier, and you're just like, oh my God! And then you see all these portals. Yeah. Doctor Strange portals.
Dozens of portals.
Dozens.
Like the whole battlefield is filled with portals.
There's at least 100 plus.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about 100.
Okay. Well, there is a bunch. Yeah. Either way. And you see these huge armies of just like allied heroes just coming into the fold and just fighting the crap out of everything.
Pouring in.
And then Spider-Man like stole the show whenever he swung in. He really did. He rode on Valkyrie.
Yeah. Oh, man. That was such a beautiful swing. Here's what's even better. We didn't get to go opening night, okay? Hence why this video is late and everything. We went 2 days later, whatever it was. It was not a packed show. It was a 3D show, so that was nice. Not a packed show. My buddy Jacob here, he was like whooping and hollering throughout the entire thing. I'm just enjoying the thing, watching the movie. And just like, oh, this is so pretty, And nobody else was really reacting. Spider-Man comes on scene, the entire theater is lost it. They're just like, yeah! And it's like, man, these people have been waiting for Spider-Man. Can't blame them, but
that was the hardest part of Infinity War, by far. That was the hardest part, besides watching Peter just screw up and knock Thanos out of, Peter Quill, knock Thanos out of the hypnotism that he was under. Besides that part, that was the hardest part to watch. That and obviously Gamora dying. That was sad. So speaking of the, Black Widow dying, it was literally in the same manner that Gamora dies in this movie.
How so?
Because she gets, not really in the same, she gets still thrown off the thing. Like, she throws herself off, but it's still where they have to make the sacrifices to get the Soul Stone. Yeah. We didn't alleviate on that earlier. With how he actually gets the stone.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so...
But I just find it interesting. It's like, they obviously there was only one way to get it, but you just kept thinking, is it going to be Clint, or is it going to be, Black Widow? Because they keep fighting each other, trying to get off of the cliff.
They keep one-upping each other to who's going to sacrifice for who to get over the edge, and it's just like, okay, it's gonna be May.
No, what? It's gonna be May.
No, okay, it's gonna be what the hell's her name? It's gonna be Black Widow. She's ahead. Oh no, Hawkeye pulled something out and then blew her to the side. And oh no, it's gonna be I keep wanting to call her Scarlet Widow. It's gonna be Black Widow. It's gonna be Hawkeye. And just like one-upping each other, and finally like Hawkeye just leaps over the edge. Is like, okay, it's Hawkeye. That makes sense. He's lost his family. He's got nothing else left to lose. He wants this secret love of his life to live. And then she fucking leaps over like does some kind of like lasso on him and attaches him to the wall so he can't get free. And then like he grabs her to keep her from falling to his death, and they're hanging there. He's holding on to her, and she's just like, let go. And I'm like, I knew it had to be that way, but oh man, that was such a powerful build-up.
Speaking of Hawkeye losing his family, the very beginning of the movie. Like,
Oh,
there is
yes.
no opening.
No.
There is nothing. It
There's
just starts.
Yeah, because like most Marvel movies start off with the whole
With the
comic book
comic
pages
book
flipping, and then it spells out Marvel. It just goes right into you seeing Hawkeye with his family having a nice picnic, and he's teaching his daughter how to use archery for the bow and arrow. And then we're sitting there watching, it's like,
We know something's
like,
gonna happen.
is this like a preview of the movie or something? What, is
Right,
this actually
right.
is this actually the movie starting already? And then like you see how happy he is with his family, and then it clicked for me. I was like, shit. And I just did this motion in front of Jacob, and he's like, oh.
I was thinking the same exact thing, though. I was in the same boat with you, because why would they be showing the family otherwise?
Right.
What's the point of doing that?
Right.
If he's going to have a happily ever after and his family's not going to get snapped out of existence.
That was a beautiful start to it too.
Yeah, but it was confusing.
It
a little
was,
bit.
yes.
It was just like, where are they going with this?
It was, I would say it was jarring.
Yes.
If that makes sense. Because
Yes.
it was so unlike every other Marvel movie starting. Right. But it wasn't a bad thing. It just, we weren't expecting it. It's like,
I'm going to jump way ahead, and I'm just going to say there is no end credit scene. But there is an audio cue that is either... There's a possibility of it being from multiple things. But it's just a heads up, there is zero at all end credits or mid-credit scene.
So if you want to hear a particular sound, wait till the end of the credits, but you're not going to see anything.
Exactly.
I don't know if you want to say what it is or not.
I mean, I don't mind. This is a spoiler review.
Oh, that's true. So it's the sound... To me, it was the sound of a hammer striking an anvil. So immediately I thought to Infinity War with the whole making the Stormbreaker with Peter Dinklage as a giant Dinklage. Peter Giant Lich, whatever. That giant dwarf dude, as contradictory as that is, I thought, okay, maybe he's making... Because again, I don't know anything about comics. Maybe he's making another gauntlet for some other kind of Infinity Stones or another weapon. But we watched a review, or I guess
a video on it.
And their first thought was hearkening back to the very first MCU
Which makes a
movie.
lot of sense, considering the ending.
Right, because it was Iron Man when he's actually forging the very first Iron Man suit in the desert. And then there's that one scene where he's actually, hammering away to get the plate armor in place.
The first reveal of Thor in this movie is hilarious.
Oh, man.
He's gained a little weight.
Yeah.
Just a smidge weight. Like, now he looks like the fat one whenever in Infinity War, the first time Star-Lord and him met, that they were saying how Star-Lord was one sandwich away from being fat.
Yeah.
Oh, Thor done ate all the sandwiches.
Yeah.
There's no bakery around possible.
There's no sandwiches left in Asgard. That's why he's drinking all the damn beer.
They thought they got Thanos too. The bread and wheat and everything else that make more bread. They thought it got Thanos because he ate it all.
Yeah, he fat. But it's funny too because at first I had a hard time to did the actor really put on all that weight, or is it a fat suit? And then as it went on, it's like, okay, that's clearly a fat suit, but it was
a good job on a fat suit though. It didn't look cheaply made,
right?
But it is Marvel, so they don't do too many things cheap.
No, and this movie was definitely.
Oh man, whoo! Like they say that there's specific moments where you feel like you could go to the bathroom because it's a slow moment. I don't remember a single slow moment.
No, we were trying to watch this movie thing that he brought up because we both have to use the restroom a lot, and it's like 3 hours. When are we going to get to use the bathroom? And so he's like, "Oh, we'll watch this movie real quick beforehand. It'll tell us when it'll be okay to go use the bathroom." We didn't see any point. It's like, I mean, thank goodness we didn't have to. We both came prepared. I'll let you figure out what that means. We didn't have to leave, but yeah, the entire time we're just like, every minute, every frame of that movie was essential to developing everything that happened to how they defeat Thanos.
And in previous movies, like literally connecting the entire MCU, all 20 plus films, into one film that is a nice ending and send off for what that era meant and what that era did. I loved it.
Which it really, in all honesty, I'm putting this out there, it really worries me because...
How are they going to top this?
How do you top that? B, how do you continue on in that legacy?
Right.
Because even if they don't top it, even if they get close to it, it's just like, what's the point of watching these newer Avengers come out and have their own movies and their own sequels and building up to the next bigger, badder guy? Because apparently Thanos is a chump compared to the other Marvel supervillains that are out there. But point being, it's just like, with the masterpiece of writing that the Russo brothers did, and I don't know how many of the movies they've done, if it was just these two.
They've done, I think, 4.
4?
They did the They did Infinity War, they did this one, they did Civil War, and I think they did the Winter Soldier, but I'm not 100% certain about that.
Okay. Point being, I'm flabbergasted. I'm excited and I am frightened at the same time, because if they are able to top this, oh my God, it will be worthy. But at the same time, it's like
Captain America. Like Captain America. Sorry, you said they will be worthy, and I said like Captain America.
Fair. Gotcha. I see what you mean now. But then at the same time, I'm frightened because they had such a humongous collaborative effort, it seemed, not just for the Russo brothers, but for all the directors and all the writers contributing to all these movies to make everything tie in together and to have everything have a place, you know. And it's just like, how can they do that again? How can they do that for this next era of Marvel movies?
I don't mean to have blind faith in Marvel, but considering they made me like Ant-Man, which I honestly, I never ever in a million years thought I would like Ant-Man, like as a character, but they made me love that character.
And they made you cry over an ant.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't get emotional. I didn't shed a single tear during this movie.
Oh man. So I did not cry. If you do cry, it's okay. Shed those manly ass tears. You're good. Okay, seriously.
Sorry, go ahead.
This movie is sad. It is bittersweet. It will tug at your heartstrings. And I came very close to crying for Tony Stark's funeral. When they have that bouquet float down the lake, and you see that thing from the end of the first Iron Man movie, proof that Tony Stark has a heart. I was like, oh man.
Okay, just in case you couldn't tell from that, Tony Stark dies in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not a joke. That's a super big spoiler in this. Like, you shouldn't have made it at all in this video if you didn't want spoilers.
Yeah.
But literally, Tony Stark dies in this movie, and that is the hardest part. When he steals the jewels from that sounds so bad.
Hey.
When he steals the gems from Thanos' glove, and he activates them on his hand, and then I am Iron Man, because he asked him, "What are you?"
Yeah.
And then he says, "I am Iron Man."
And then snaps.
And then he snaps, and all the T'Chari start, like, you know, we should say Starking now instead of Thanos, or Starked. They get Starked.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
They get snapped, and you see all these T'Chari start fading in front of the heroes, and then eventually it gets down to Thanos. And I didn't feel any pity for that man. No. I am so happy he's gone. Yeah. And he was wiped from existence. But you knew what that meant for Tony, because they made it extremely clear in this movie that that's right. Hulk uses the
yeah, he tries to snap first.
The gauntlet first, and it damages his arm like crazy. And Hulk even says, "You saw what it did to Thanos. You don't want to attempt this. You don't want to try it. It's going to kill you instantly."
Yeah, because at the very beginning of the movie, when they first come across Thanos on his farm planet, you see that he snapped to destroy the stones, and it had melted the glove to his arm, and like his face was all burned. So, so it's like you understood
fully what would happen to Tony if he snapped. But Tony knew that. And he did it, and it just, like, it completely destroyed his body. Like, his whole left side was just obliterated. And
right side.
I'm sorry, right side. Okay, whatever. His whole side was obliterated. Yeah. Like, he had, like, a few, like, words, but not much after that. Like, he didn't speak too much.
No.
Even to Pepper, and she was trying to console him, and she was like, you know, "You'll be okay, we'll be okay," you know.
Well, okay, I would say
Spider-Man seeing Tony die, that was hard.
Yes. I would say Spider-Man was trying to console him, saying, "We're going to get you fixed, we're going to get you better." Pepper Potts, like, shoves him away. He's like, "Get back, kid." And is like, and then what she says was along the lines of, We'll be okay, you can rest now.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. So she was letting him know, you've done your part. You can go in peace. Don't worry about us. Sorry, didn't mean to start the waterworks.
It's fine. It's just hard, man.
It is. It was such a beautiful send-off after such an amazing... Think about it. What all has Tony Stark in the MCU gone through? He went from a playboy billionaire that was making money from he didn't even care where he was getting the money from.
Whoever had the money for the
Whoever
guns.
had the money. He just selling his guns, selling his father's work to get whatever money he wanted, to, you know, using his stuff for
humanitarian.
Becoming a humanitarian. And then, like, he messes up in Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
He messes up in Avengers 2.
Yep.
Age of Ultron. And he's trying to right all these wrongs he's done that he's continuing to do by trying to make things better. And then he takes on Peter Parker as his protege.
Mm-hmm.
And as we see in Homecoming, fantastic film as well, tries to get Spider-Man to understand, I don't want you to be me. I messed up. I want you to be better than I am. And then at the end of the day, he definitely came around.
Oh, yeah.
You know, morally, emotionally.
Yep.
You know, he had a freaking daughter. That daughter was cute.
Oh, she was adorable.
Oh, my God.
He has a kid in this movie with Pepper, and we find that out almost at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Because now I love the opening of this movie. When it comes to when they find out what happens, Captain Marvel comes in. She's like, let's go. We're Bruce is like, we're going in shorthanded, and she's like, I don't care. You got me now.
Yeah.
I'm a badass. You know what I mean? But when they actually find out where Thanos is, and then they go and they fight Thanos. Oh, it's no fight.
No.
Thor goes for the head.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes for the head. Like, not just the head first. He goes for the arm that has the gauntlet seared to his arm because they thought, obviously, the gems were still attached to the gauntlet because he used it recently to get to that planet.
Right.
But then, like, he's talking and he's, like, gloating or whatever. But he's Thor's just like, I went for the head. And damn it, he just...
Straight through. But yeah, so I think what you're trying to get at is when at the very beginning of the film, when they do go after Thanos the first time, after the second snap, when he destroys the stones, Iron Man wants nothing with it. He's like, I have a kid now. I have a daughter. I'm not going after for this stuff. That's all you. I don't want nothing of this. So, but I think I'm remembering that part wrong. Because, like, they went after him, like, 20-some days after the initial snap.
Yeah, it was like 25 days or something. And they won.
Because he came back, because Captain Marvel saves him and Nebula on the ship and lands them, and he's, like, completely dehydrated.
Yep,
he's in a wheelchair. He's in IV.
Looking.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I tried to save Earth from this threat years ago, and you're like, no, we're the Avengers, not the pre-Avengers. That's what it was. Right. And then later on, they come back to him again saying, hey, we got this quantum tunneler, we can go back in time. Even though
he's hesitant about helping them, though. That second time he was.
Not at first. When they first went to his cabin and they see that he has a daughter and he has his own life, he's like, look, you guys can stay, but we can't talk about work because I'm not going to help you. But then, like, he figures out time travel, of course, within 5 minutes. I'm sorry.
Because he's Tony Stark,
Yeah. Show me a Mobius strip inverse. Point at this little subset here. I don't expect anything out of it.
Right here.
Oh, I just saw time travel.
Just nonchalantly.
That was like the most cop-out part of it, but I get it. It's Tony Stark. He creates a new element.
Right.
And
right.
Like an
it
afternoon.
keeps him alive. Yeah. Time travel. That's short work for him.
Right.
All right. So this video's been long enough. Not that I'm not enjoying it, but we should probably cut it.
Okay.
So what would you rate this movie? In all seriousness.
In all seriousness,
what would you rate this movie?
What am I comparing it to?
Okay, 1 out of 100.
Okay, 100 being the best film ever made, and then 1 being the worst. 1 being the Phantom Menace.
Sure, why not? Let's just go with that.
Man, I want to say 100. I really do.
It's not even a 1. It is 100. It's 10. It's perfect 10. A perfect 100. 3,000. You get that movie. You get that reference if you watch this movie.
I'm going to say 99 though. In all seriousness.
Seriously?
In all seriousness,
not
because.
Perfect.
Not perfect. It is so close to perfection.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because again, there's some things that I wanted to see, but I could see. I don't know the characters. I don't know the story that well.
Right.
But I would say 99 out of 100.
Now there is one more thing. I'm sorry. There is one more thing that I want to talk about in this video. Is I liked Stan Lee's cameo, but it could have been a lot better, and it kind of felt like a quick just passerby. Considering he passed away so recently, and this is his last MCU movie.
I just thought, what if that really wasn't Stan Lee in that shot? What if they weren't able to get that cameo done
because
beforehand?
he was already...
Because he'd already passed.
Or he was having serious health issues.
Right.
They couldn't get him to film.
And so they got someone
That's what I was thinking, because he didn't look like Stan Lee.
And even so, like, when they show him, I didn't even realize it was Stan Lee at first. I mean, granted, because it was back in the 1970s when they show him, so he's a younger Stan Lee.
Right.
But, I mean, it didn't really... It was so fast, and it just wasn't really paying attention. The only reason why I was like, was that Stan Lee? Was because of his voice.
Not
So-
just that. The thing that caught my eye was the "Nuff Said" bumper sticker.
What's that about?
He had a bumper sticker on his car that said "Nuff Said."
In the movie, yeah.
Yeah, in the movie.
Yeah.
And that's what got me thinking Stan Lee. This is Stan Lee cameo.
Was he known for saying enough said or something
Yeah,
like that?
yeah.
Oh,
That
I don't know.
I can't hurt him on camera.
Don't go, folks. My life depends on it.
But that was my biggest complaint, was the Stan Lee cameo, because it didn't really feel like a true Stan Lee cameo, and that should not have been his final cameo in the MCU. I think the Captain Marvel's cameo was so much better than that one. And that's sad, because this is Endgame. This is supposed to be the end-all, be-all.
They may have not had much of a choice, though.
No, I know
So-
that. I know. But if that is the reasoning, that makes sense. But if it's not, I'm actually kind of irritated with that.
I feel you on that.
Considering
Yeah.
Stan Lee.
All right, man.
Okay.
Well, that's it for us. From us. Not for us. From us. English.
English is hard for Nathan.
It's my first language, so I mean, you can't blame me. It's my first language, so. Anyway.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching. Please like this video if you like it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You should check out this lovely man's YouTube too.
I don't have one.
Just
There's
do.
nothing there but cookies, I swear.
There's nothing but cookies. Everybody loves cookies.
That, yeah.
All right. Bye.